What's up, y'all? It's Brandon Hart, and today we're going to talk about concealed carrying while you're riding your motorcycle. Should you do it? We'll talk about the pros and cons. I'll share some tips, talk about the different styles of carrying. This could be a controversial one today. Now, obviously, anytime we're talking about firearms, safety is going to come first. I've got my Canik MC9. This firearm has been cleared. No ammunition. This is my personal carry. It's in the micro subcompact category. When I ride, I prefer something nice and small, but also packs a punch, as this is 9mm. So we'll holster this guy. Before I get on the bike, we'll talk a little bit about the why. I think we can all agree the world is a pretty crazy place right now. Personally, I'm always hyper aware of people around me, especially in vulnerable situations. Everyone should have the ability to protect themselves adequately. So when you talk about being on a bike, those risks are even greater. You're not surrounded by this big cage here like I am in my truck. When you're on your bike, let's say you break down on the side of the road or you're at a gas station, you're extremely vulnerable in those situations, even just pulling up to a stoplight. The why for me is protecting yourself. I'm not gonna be an aggressor. If you're the type of guy who rides a bike and you think you just wanna smack mirrors off and cause trouble like that and road rage and all that, carrying a gun is not for you. With carrying a gun comes an elevated level of responsibility. So if you're not willing to accept that, I think you should just move forward and not carry at all. Secondly, I think education is extremely important. Everyone should have the right to carry, but at the same time, educate yourself on all your local laws, rules, regulations when it comes to carrying a firearm. I live in the state of Florida, and a couple of years ago, a bill was passed where you don't need a permit to conceal carry. It is available for everyone. I think that's great for people to be able to protect themselves. It's also important to understand and be familiar with how a firearm works and how to carry it without putting yourself or other lives in danger. I do have my concealed carry permit in several states, in addition to being allowed to carry in Florida. And to do that, I had to take a class to understand the risks. You learn about the firearms. You have to pass a shooting portion to show you're at least competent in being able to place your shots on target. We can talk about different types of guns and what you should carry, what caliber, all that good stuff. But I think I can really simplify it with saying, carry what you're comfortable handling. I'm not going to talk about ammunition and all that because I don't think YouTube really likes it. So find an ammunition that's right for you in your situation. I will say there are self-defense options, especially with a 9mm, that I felt personally is adequate enough to protect my life. I'm not going to get into the brands of guns, etc. That's a whole nother debate. So, hey, whatever you like to carry, that's up to you. Your preferred method of carry is going to depend on many different factors. You think about weather, the type of clothing you're wearing. I prefer appendix carry. I am smaller in the waist, so it tends to be a little bit easier for me. But if you're a larger guy, appendix carry may be out of the question, and you might elect for either a pocket carry, a vest or jacket carry, or hip carry. Now with appendix carry, I like it because it does not print, right? I could sit here and walk around, go about my day to day. As you can see, there is very little to no printing. And as you can see, it fits very nicely. Now, sometimes when you appendix carry, you might elect for a larger size of jeans because you'll notice you won't be able to tighten your belt to the normal level, but this allows me easy and quick access, and it's extremely concealable. Let's go ahead and get on the bike. Again, I got appendix carry. When you first sit down, you'll notice there's a little bit of pressure depending on the size of your belly. I probably have more of a belly than I should right now, But easy fix for that, and I always do this. When I sit down, you just use your thumb, press the handle of the firearm out just a little bit forward, and it will rest right there on your belly. I know it's not pretty, but I could ride like this all day and I don't feel it at all. It's only when you first sit down, it tends to push up against your belly. I don't care how small you are. You know, sometimes you have a little bit of belly that overhangs when you sit down. All right, so that's how I like to do it. Anyway, let's throw a helmet on and get to riding. A little bit of thunderstorms out there, so we might get wet, but who cares? It's Florida. If I could describe to y'all how hot it is right now, I would say if you're making a pizza in a brick oven and you were to climb inside said brick oven, that's where I'm at right now. Holy smokes, boy. Ooh, nice little soft tail for sale there. You guys want to check it out? Hang on a second. Side quest. It's beautiful. 2007 Fat Boy. 6,500 bucks. This little Fat Boy with the 96 cubic inch 2-in-1 exhaust. Very clean. Although I like to appendix carry, there are some things to consider. Obviously, being comfortable is one of them. I told you about my little trick of pushing that gun a little bit forward after I sit down. It helps out a lot. And I could ride like this for a long time now. Is it gonna be comfortable as having nothing? No, never. But what's the benefit? Well, my firearm's on my center at all times. It's secured. So although all y'all that say, I don't want to carry an appendix because I don't want to shoot my bleep off. Well, a holstered firearm is a secured firearm. And if you don't feel comfortable with a holstered appendix firearm, you probably shouldn't be carrying to begin with. If I was to get in a situation, it's right here. Unfortunately, with the motorcycle, the throttle's on the right-hand side. I'm right-handed. Obviously, my holster's right-handed. I'd have to let off the throttle to draw. If I was left-handed, it'd be a whole lot easier because having a free left hand while riding is a lot easier unless you've got cruise control, which I do on this bike, and I use it pretty frequently. Let's say you're a bigger guy, you can hip carry. I'd say word of caution on hip carry. We're not gonna go that way, it looks a little darker. Word of caution on hip carry, you tend to print a lot more. So I think one of the benefits of concealed carrying is no one knows I'm carrying a firearm. And what's that mean? Well, a lot of things. One, a potential threat can't just come up from behind and grab it. Also, those Karens out there aren't going to cause a big stink about me carrying a gun in a store or something like that. Nobody knows, and that's the whole point. And when you can see what I'm riding, bro, can you even tell? But if you're on that hip, you've got wind. The wind tends to kick your shirt up a little bit. Let's say you're wearing a short sleeve shirt, as I am in this heat. It's gonna play a factor. So I'd rather hip carry than not carry it at all. The one thing I don't recommend doing is carrying in your saddlebag. Although it's probably the most secure way to carry. If a situation arises out of nowhere, which, let's face it, none of us expect an armed intruder to approach us at any given time, but that's when it happens. You can't just say, hey, pause, let me go grab my gun. It doesn't work that way. So I'm always gonna want easy, quick access to my life-saving device. I also have a belly band, which you can wear and stay armed a little bit higher. I find them to be real uncomfortable. They kind of smell when you're sweating, but you can explore all those different holsters, etc. Now, let's say it's cooler and you're not baking in the 95-degree Florida heat. Simply wearing a vest or a jacket, even one of those light textile jackets, you could carry in a pocket there. You just got to remember, if you were to take your jacket or vest off, you're no longer armed, and or someone may have access to just grab that jacket. I think most like club members and stuff probably carry in their vest. I don't know, you'll have to let me know. I have seen mounts for bikes. The new Street Glides have a drawer that looks like it's perfect to fit a gun, but there the issue is, well, let's say you go to the gas station and you want to walk inside. Well, you got your gun in your bike. Now you got to take it out to put it in your holster on your person. Well, now everyone knows you got a gun. If I got it on me, I always got it on me, bro. I saw a story the other day. Some guy got shot at a boat ramp. One of the last places you'd probably think about carrying. But I'm telling you, things happen. Now, lots of pros and cons carrying guns. Pros, obviously, you have the ability to save your life. Something happens on the side of the road in the middle of the night in a sketchy area. You got a little bit more confidence. You can at least protect yourself from any potential threat. And I think it comes with a feeling of safety. And how many times you see on TV, something happens, a shooting. Oh, we always felt safe here. I don't know, man. I think safety is an illusion, and I'd rather create my own safety. So that's why I carry. Now, in terms of cons, there's a few of them. I think if you don't know what you're doing, it can be dangerous. It goes back to taking those classes, make sure you educate yourself. You could make yourself a target if your gun is printing or visible, because one of the, as the kids call it, ops, could potentially try to snag your weapon. And you have heard, or I have heard of, negligent discharges. Well, that is a thing. So if you don't secure your firearm and it gets snagged on something and that trigger goes off, that's on you, my friend. You'll have to let me know. How do you prefer carrying while riding? Are you on the fence? It took me a little while to get used to it, but now I don't even think about jumping on this bike without being armed. But if you're a hothead, don't do it. If you can't control yourself or your emotions, don't carry. If you're into road rage, don't do it. Just because someone cuts me off or flips me off or looks at me funny on the road, that doesn't give me the right to pull out my gun and start acting crazy. Because once you pull it out, that's all it takes. And you'll learn a lot of that in your concealed carry courses, when it's okay to do these things. Some states vary in the right to protect property, and that definition of life-threatening can be up to interpretation. So just be careful out there. You know, I've had some close calls on the road, but I don't even worry about it, man. Most of the time you don't know the person, and it ain't worth it. The road rage stuff has to stop. Hitting someone's mirror off, that's crazy. Control yourself, man. All you're doing is escalating a situation, and I'm not trying to get shot over someone cut me off on the highway. So let me know in the comments how y'all feel about this. I don't know how YouTube's gonna feel about it. I did my best to research what I'm allowed to talk about and what I'm not. And I tried my best to stay within guidelines to not get flagged as 18 or over or get demonetized, but who knows, it'll probably happen. But also let me know if I left anything out. I appreciate all y'all for watching today. So I'm gonna ride a little bit here in Clearwater, Florida. If you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you like my content, go ahead and
give me a like, leave a comment, let me know what you carry, why you carry, or even if you're against it, that's okay too. If you ride, remember, always keep that rubber side down, and always ride filthy. I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all take care. Peace. Well, I shouldn't have talked that trash. I told y'all it was gonna rain. Ay, ay, ay. Welcome to Florida. Sheesh. Ain't too bad. Hey, it feels good because it ain't super hot anymore. Except my jeans are about 300 pounds. Par for the course. It'll be sunny in about 5 minutes or so.